Good day, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And Tyler, we'll have to bring up the volume a little bit. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to see you all. Welcome, welcome. Familiar faces, new faces. It's absolutely fantastic to see everybody in the room. Lots of us here in the room, which is so wonderful. In addition to that, we have about 25 people online today as well. So just think of yourself doubled, and you can imagine how many people are part of the meeting today. So welcome to the Bloomington Rotary Club. My name is Alain Barker, and thrilled to be with you once again. Today is January 31st. We're at the end of January, which means that time is ticking for my presidency. We have another, 5 months left, and I'll be done. Yes, very, very happy. But also, I'm having a great time. Don't worry. Very happy to be here with you. Today is a very special day. We have our distinguished guest with us as well, and we'll be talking about that a little later. And to start the day off, let's invite Tracy Jovanovic to join us at the podium. She's going to give our reflection. By the way, let's congratulate her on all the incredible work that she's doing with membership. Yeah.
All right, total pressure on me for the membership. I know how that works. I'm a salesperson, so if you could put the slide up, that'd be awesome. So I thought about last week in the blockchain presentation, and then this week with the billion-dollar business, and transformation was the word that kind of came to mind. I thought I would share some of my observations when I worked at Microsoft. I was there just under 6 years, and if you can imagine a company, a large company, going through transformation in the tech industry, I thought I'd share some of those views and how Satya Nadella, the new CEO, when he came on, what he did to change the business. And for my friends from the Kelley School, Satya always said culture eats strategy for breakfast, but for my friends in Kelley School, yes, Peter Drucker did as well. So let me start off. In order to share with you what he did, I need to give you a little background. And it doesn't seem to be, here we go. Bear with me. There we go. So Satya Nadella joined in about 2014 in the summer, and he came on and he was really intent on changing the way Microsoft was operating. The stock was about 41 bucks a share, not doing that well. Steve Ballmer had left it in a little bit of chaos. So if you read his, I'll call it a memoir, the book Hit Refresh, he said he was on a quest to rediscover Microsoft's soul. And so I went back and looked through Hit Refresh just to make sure I was staying honest to how things work. I came on Microsoft about 3 months after Satya. So when the stock went up, it really was me. It was not Satya Nadella, just so you know. But it was interesting because we moved there from Kansas. And let me tell you, when you go to Seattle, you're not in Kansas anymore. So it was a lot of change. I'm going to a very large company, to a beautiful area. Not that Overland Park's not beautiful, but it's just different. And he started off his leadership at the Grace Hopper event. And I don't know how many of you know, but that's one of the leading tech women events in the country. And he immediately had a faux pas where he was asked on stage, he was the main speaker, and he was asked, what should women do in order to be more equitable in the salary range? And he said, well, you should just rely on your good work and just let it happen. And boy, was he crucified. And boy, did he never make that mistake again. But he was early in his tenure. But I think he really took it to heart because he changed the way Microsoft viewed diversity and inclusion. We didn't have equity back then. He changed the way they looked at people and brought them in. He had to break down, if you think about Microsoft back in 2014, they had 16 different segments of the business that were over multi-billion dollars, right? And the egos, you can imagine the egos that are involved, such smart people I've never worked with. It was frankly intimidating. And he had to change that ship and write the course. And so he had to take a look and he had to say, okay, let's look at our people. Let's look at the processes. Oh, and I wanted to give you an example of processes. And by the way, I put M&F. It's not M&F. It's mid-year review. We had so many acronyms, I can't even remember. But I'm in sales, so I said it with conviction. So it's M&F. But mid-year review was a great example of the Ballmer legacy, where you had what looked like, if you think of the IU basketball court, you had tables lined up in a U, and you had a head table up there with the chief operating officer. And he had 5 people back behind him with laptops. And they were all typing answers as we went around and did how our sales stats, because the Microsoft year is July to June. And so mid-year review is in January. And it was the 12th through the 28th, roughly. Well, the problem with this is the preparation time. You have subsidiaries all over the world, if you can imagine. The US was the largest. You had 50 executives who would start December 1st preparing for the presentation to this mid-year review in January. And so and I'm in the consumer goods division. So for those of you who know consumer goods, December is not a good time to not be focused on sales, I'll just say, right? You got holiday. And so this was the part of the problem that existed at Microsoft. So he had to change that. He had to change the people. He had to look from moving what was a licensing model to now a subscription. Every day, we're all now used to subscriptions. We pay Netflix, we pay a lot of subscriptions. Frankly, it's a little overwhelming. But if you think back to 2014, there was no such thing as subscriptions. And so all this change occurred. He had to also wrestle with communication, making sure that he had good internal and external communication, because Wall Street did not understand what he was doing. And then the last thing, and one of the most important things he did, was make sure that the direction he was providing was very clear, consistent, and simple. And anyone who's worked at Microsoft within the last 7 years, 8 years, can tell you the mission statement: to empower every person and organization on the planet to do more, to achieve more. Very simple. And I wrote in here somewhere, it's like my class at SPIA. My one class that I remember for SPIA was that it was policy analysis, and you had to write a one-page paper on what should be a 40-page paper. That is so hard to get concise and tight, the message. And so just so you know, I did pay attention in SPIA, and apparently Satya was good. But this is there were two things that I would focus in on. One was the employee review process changes that he put in place. When you think about 16 multi-billion units, you've got egos out there, and how do you get them to work together? You put the merit system in place that says, what's the individual contribution? What is the leveraging the success of others, and how do you contribute to other success? And each piece is weighted 33%. Well, let me tell you, you start getting measured on other people's success, it drives a very different behavior. And it took time to get there. As part of the merit process, it was part of the awards process, it was all the evaluation. That made a difference, and you saw people start working together, whereas they didn't in the past. And then the last thing I would say, yeah, he did a lot of things, but I just wanted to hone in here. We've been talking a lot about D&I. He was very good with empathy and inclusion. He brought on a chief accessibility officer. I'll focus on that piece because I know we have short time. But a chief accessibility officer, if you think about the products that we offer, it's still new to me, that Microsoft offers, you know, Office, Surface, Xbox, how do we make sure that people with disabilities can be a part and feel like they are included? And so he hired a chief accessibility officer, and that made huge differences across all the product categories, because her name was Jenny Leigh Fleury. And what she was able to do is we started hiring people with disabilities very aggressively, making sure they were in key roles to help develop and design the products. And so it was no longer people who didn't have disabilities trying to say what it felt like, what it should. And you see a lot of change, a lot of differences most people aren't aware of within the Word products, within Xbox. You have avatars that look like people with disabilities. It really started driving a change. And so we often talk about D&I here in Rotary. I would just advocate, this came up, I don't know where Jim is, but this came up in the interviews that we did for the graduate scholarship with Megan. You know, we want to make sure we're also considering people with disabilities. So, you know, there's a lot more I could go to, but I know we're short on time, and I don't want to take away from Mr. Nunn because he's got $1 billion business he's done as well. So I would leave you with those thoughts, that you can make big changes, and everybody has to be a part of that change and listen and think of how you can contribute to it.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And you actually reminded me of a conversation I was having with my entrepreneurship students this morning. And we were talking about stasis versus change. You know, as a culture and as a society, we tend to think of stasis as the norm, and then change as something that's abnormal. And what I love about what you've shown us is that the process of change and the process of evolution within an organization makes it stronger, rather than trying to hang on to the habits of an organization. What I love about Rotary, and I've been thinking about Rotary a lot as you were talking as well, is how we embrace change. We imagine our future together using the values that we share, and that empowers such a spectacular organization. So altogether wonderful. Thank you, Tracy. Well, we have some friends here this week as well, some guests to announce. Susie's going to do that.
Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Susie Graham. I'm happy to see you in person. I don't make many of the meetings here face to face, but I'm always on Zoom. So hello to my Zoom friends out there. So we would like to welcome 5 guests who are with us today. The first 3 are guests of Jim Bright. We'd like to welcome Tori Lawhorn, Eugene Hurley, and Dave Weaver. Could the 3 of you please stand or wave so we can welcome you? As the guest of Steve Moberly, we have Sandy Moberly. Sandy, there you are. Hello, Sandy. And as the guest of Aaron Brewington, we have Pablo Fuentes. Pablo, there you are. Hello. Welcome, everyone. We're happy you're here. Hey, Jim Shaw. Shay Shaw.
So great to know that Pablo's in the room. I didn't know that you were here. It's great. He and I had coffee about 5 weeks ago or something. Joy, do we have guests on? Oh, not Joy, Michael Shermas. Joy's with us. Everybody, congratulate Joy for being with us. Woohoo! She's in the room. Joy's in the room. Michael Shermas. Are there any guests online?
Hi, Alon. There are 3. Tony Messner, Joyce Krahi, who is a guest of Judy Schroeder, and Stephanie Shelton are all here.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Okay, we're going to move quickly to a very important ceremony that we're having here. So I'm going to invite Mike Baker to come and join us here at the podium. We have some Paul Harris Fellows to celebrate today, which is always a very exciting moment. And it's great to have Mike in the room as well, previous president, who's done so much for the organization.
Thank you, President Allen. First of all, I don't dress up like this for too many people. So Marshall and Hank and everybody else, Raj and Bill, joining us by Zoom. Nothing better to start the new year than to present some Paul Harris Fellow recognitions. For our new members, Rotary International can do good in the world when each Rotarian helps contribute to the Rotary International. So these 4 today have been part of that, and we want to recognize them for their work. I would also like to thank each of you that filled out the forms before the end of the year on either increasing your pledge or maybe making a pledge. And some people have asked, hey, I lost the form. It was Christmas, it was the holidays. So you can see Natalie, if you did, she can get you a new form. So again, today we have 4 members who have contributed to the Rotary International Foundation. Dr. Raj Hadawi and Bill Perkins by Zoom. I guess they're up there. And Marshall Goss and Hank Walter are with us here today. So Marshall and Hank, if you could come up, please. Is Lynn here? Oh, there you are. You snuck in on me. There you are. Okay. There's the pins to get the name. They get the names on. Okay. I guess Raj and Bill are both there. Okay. So I'm going to start with Marshall today. Give you a little information about Marshall that some of you may not know. He's been in our club since 1987. He supported many of our service projects over the years, as well as leading fundraising for our scholarship program for years, many years. Some may know him as a past IU track coach from 1998 to 2003, but he was also inducted into the Indiana High School Track and Field Hall of Fame for track, cross country probably, right? 1994. He was the head track coach at Bloomington High School South from 1964 to 1982. And what most of you may not know is he got his degree in horticulture and for many years ran the nursery at IU. And so whenever people come to town and ask about the campus and why it's so beautiful, one of the reasons was because his leadership in making sure our campus is one of the most beautiful in the country. So I'm going to let Lynn present. You got Marshall with his Paul Harris Fellow +2. Hank Walter, Hank, there you are. Okay, he's got the shortest commute of anybody in our club since he's the executive director of the Memorial Union. He having replaced our own Winston Schindel, who's here today, who ran this place. Hank started at the University of Michigan and then leadership roles at student unions at the University of Illinois, Wisconsin, before coming to Bloomington. If you've recently stayed in the Biddle Hotel or noticed the beautiful renovations of the Fringe and Panty Room, which I was hoping we were being today, then thank Hank for overseeing those projects. I know he really especially liked doing the wood floor in the Fringe and Panty Room for how many times? With 3 teenagers, Hank has no free time, but does get to see more dance performances and basketball games than most of us combined. Today, we honor Hank as our newest Paul Harris Fellow. Now we move on to Zoom. Raj Hadavi was a member of our club for 8 years before moving to North Carolina. He came to our club via his work in 2006 with helping to start Volunteers in Medicine in Bloomington. His work with starting Volunteers in Medicine earned him an honorary Paul Harris Fellow from our club. Born in a small town in southern Iraq, he worked his way to the US in 1966, attended the University of Maryland and Tennessee, working in orthopedics and later hand surgery in Louisville. It was his wrong exit trying to get to Brown County State Park that led him to the city of Bloomington. Today, we honor Raj with his Paul Harris +1 pin. So Raj, we'll be sending you your upgraded pin rather than the one you got in the mail Monday. So thank you, Raj. And I hope Bill's up there. He's been active in our club. Let's see here. Look at this. I printed it on big print for me. So he's been active in our club since 2004. He's retired professor emeritus from IU Kelley School of Business, a longtime supporter of service work and foundation work in our club. He's one of those quiet people that works behind the scenes to make things better. He taught 2 years at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, served on the IU faculty for 37 years. He joined our club after retirement and believes in motto of service above self. Today, we recognize Bill with his Paul Harris +2 pin. So Rotarians and guests, would you please rise and honor our 4 new recipients?
Thanks very much, Mike, and congratulations to all. That's absolutely wonderful. And to also thanks to Peggy Frisbee for doing as much as she does to keep things moving in the giving area. So thank you very much, Peggy. Quick announcements that I want to just quickly make. Judy Witt had a small stroke. She's fine, but certainly everybody should send her a card or good wishes if she's very, very open to communications that come her way. And she's hoping to join us on February 14th for her special birthday day. So that's one of, oh, I should also mention that last week I mentioned that she was a member of the club for, I think, 14 years. It's 34 years. Mea culpa, mea culpa. Updates will be shared on the roundabout. We want to skip ahead here, except I want to just remind you that we have the Rotary speech competition happening very, very soon, and the deadline is Sunday. So if you know of any very talented youth who are great at giving speeches, please let Tim Jessen know. That would be great. Okay, thank you, Winston Schindel, for greeting everybody at the door today, Susie Graham for being with us in person and for introducing the guests, Michael Shemitz for being online. Great to see you there. And Michael, Tracy, thank you so much for your wonderful reflection. Kyla, she's finishing out her roundabout reporting. Thank you, Kyla, for doing 5 weeks this month. And very fantastic. And then I should mention that Tyler has actually introduced a new last name. His last name is Martin Nichols. So we just want to welcome Tyler Martin Nichols to the group once again as well. Yeah, good. So yeah. So let's go ahead and introduce our very distinguished guest, Jim.
Thank you, President Alain. Well, you've seen our guest on TV. You've seen him on the sides of city buses, and you've even seen him at the top of the front page of our local newspaper. Today, you're going to see him, this renowned personal injury attorney up close and personal right here at Bloomington Rotary. Now, do you need someone to plead your personal injury case? Hey, just dial 1-800-CALL Ken. It's just that easy. Now, Ken's results are more than impressive. $157 million settlement for wrongful death involving a defective deer stand. 28 million and another 15 million for an auto accident with a drunk driver. 5.6 million for an auto accident with a semi truck. 4.6 million for a mesothelioma victim for exposure to asbestos. And the list goes on. Ken's legacy can be seen in his millions of dollars of donations to organizations ranging from boys and girls clubs and hospitals to the local fire department and Indiana University. And as every good IU basketball fan knows, Ken even paid for the hand railings to improve access to seating at the IU Assembly Hall. Today, Ken will share with us his secrets to his success in creating a billion-dollar law firm based right here in our backyard of Bloomington, Indiana. Fellow Rotarians, please welcome Ken Nunn.
Well, I'm not sure what to say to this crowd because you guys are all very special and you're very distinguished. And I'm thinking, what could the kid from Jeffersonville, Indiana say to you that would be useful and helpful? And so I'm just going to ramble a little bit. The thing that comes to my mind as I was sitting there was how lucky I've been, very lucky. And I asked myself, why did I have such a good law office? And at first I thought it's because I'm real smart. And I threw that out the window real quick. I'm not. The second thing I thought of was I got a lot of common sense. No, I don't. I threw that out the window too. What I have is a lot of good luck. And I met my wife in high school, and she told me that in order to date her, I had to do four things really. And I thought, boy, this relationship is getting complicated because I was 16 years old and she was 14 bossing me around. And so what was rule number one? I can't skip classes anymore. I love skipping classes. I don't want to go to class. So I'll go to class every day. Rule number two, I had to do my homework. Oh my God, this relationship is getting real complicated. So I said, okay, I'll do my homework. What was the third thing? The third thing was very difficult. No more D's and F's because I was good at D's and F's. I got a lot of them. And then the fourth one was I had to graduate from high school. She is my rock. She's my anchor, and I lost her in January of last year to cancer. And but she is the reason that I am successful. Okay, she built a new Ken. The old Ken was not very dependable. Was not very reliable. And so she built the new one. And so you're looking at what she built. My first day in the law office was empty. I had a card table from home. I brought the 4 chairs from home, and I sat in the 4 chairs, and I said, I ought to make a list of things that I'm going to have to do to open this law office. And I thought, and I said, I think I need a telephone. So I ran over and I got a telephone. And I came back and I thought, check, I got that telephone. And that's the way my day began. Empty office, no furniture, I did build a bookcase out of cement blocks, and I thought that was pretty good. Uh, and so it was gradual. And as I look back on my life, it was luck. It was luck. Where am I today? Lucky. I'm just blessed with luck. And right now we have an office that we have 100 employees. I'm in a building with 30,000 square feet, 58 offices, and we clean our bathrooms 3 times a day. They always remain spotless, and it's very meticulous about cleaning bathrooms and things like that. And I'm also very meticulous about the cases I handle and the cases we work. My office has 14 lawyers, 100 employees, and one of the young ladies is with me today. This is Lisa Davis. She's been with me for 16 years, and she does a fine job. I spend a lot of money on TV. I spend $7 million a year on TV, and it is. I got some notes here. Let me look at my genuine notes here. Aha. We got 280 calls yesterday. So we have a lot of folks calling us. We average somewhere between 200 and 300 calls a day. I'm on TV, and when I heard this number, I thought, you're kidding me. I'm on TV 500 times a day. Can you believe that? I'm in Indianapolis, Lafayette, and our numbers are good. Like this week was Monday, I had 290 calls. Tuesday, I had 291 calls. Wednesday, 239 calls. And every once in a while, we'll dip into 300. But I'm lucky that I have such a great staff to handle that. Got 14 attorneys, and they are geniuses. They really are. They make me look good. They make me look good. My office makes me look good. I'm not that good, okay? I'm just average, very average, but very lucky. We have some things in our office that we do. We return phone calls. I'm at the office 7 days a week because I love doing that. It's like visiting your grandchildren. Can you just imagine saying, "Oh, I don't want to see my grandchildren today"? Well, I went to the office. I returned 5 phone calls Christmas Day. And my mother, she told me the second day I was a lawyer, she says, "Ken, don't think you're some kind of a big shot now just because you're a lawyer. You're not a big shot. You show respect and return phone calls." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." Now, I was a little brat as a kid. I didn't do anything she told me, but here I am 56 years later doing something she told me. And so I'm really proud of that. We have a great team of people in our office, and each day I come in, I decide what to do, how to win the case. And we are crazy at litigation. We lead the state of Indiana for 23 years for doing the most injury jury trials. And so you're listening to the crazy nutty lawyer, okay? I'm the guy that says sue or don't sue. And most of the time, as Lisa can tell you, I'm the crazy nutty guy. And so we sue. You know what? We get a lot more money from these insurance companies, God bless them. And so if there's any folks out there with insurance companies, I say that with the utmost respect, okay? I don't want you to get mad at me. And it's fun to be a lawyer. It's fun to come to the office. It's fun to have people around me to help me look good. It's fun to talk to clients. Like we have 834 in pre-litigation, which means we haven't filed a lawsuit yet. we have 1,600 lawsuits going, 1,600. And that's a lot. And so our lawyers are kept busy, but the lawsuits, they're my way of saying, please give us some more money. So, and that works. It works. When I was a young lawyer, I broke all the rules. I learned what not to do, and that we are blessed. I'm blessed to have come out of law school and come into city of Bloomington for such a wonderful group of lawyers. They were mean to me. They beat me. They taught me how to be a lawyer, and I thank them for that. They did a good job. They did a good job. The judges we had here, phenomenal. I did the circuit. I was around the county, around the state. I will tell you, our judges were great. We had fantastic judges. We had fantastic lawyers. Some of those guys, thank God, has retired, so they're not around anymore. We have something in our office called GOO. I picked that up from Edgar Snyder out of Pittsburgh, Indiana, or Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he called it GOO. And I thought, well, you know, if he called it GOO, I'm going to call it GOO too. What is it? It's money that we have collected for our clients, but we're still waiting. It's in limbo. We have to wait until we get all the medical bills paid and all the liens and things like that, and make sure the check clears, and make sure that that we issue the check to the people. We call people and say, hey, you want us to wire your money? You want us to send it in the mail or what? And so we have about $12 million there. That's reassuring. We got 1,600 pending cases. That's reassuring. So we send out we have 30 young ladies and men working for us from Indiana University. They're students, they're undergrad, they're geniuses. I wish I'd have been that smart. They're doing the interrogatories. They're working in the litigation department, and they're doing interrogatories, and they're doing a great job. The interrogatories is part of the litigation process. I'm a fanatic about what's going on in our office. I get 7 daily reports, 7. I know what's going on in my office, how many people called me, how many people signed up, how many people did not sign up. I get 7 reports a day. I get 21 reports a week. I get 30 reports more a month. So it's a total of 58 reports per month. So I know what's going on in my office. And, you know, I had open heart surgery 12 years ago, and I had four doctors in that room. And because they had to stop your heart for 4 hours or 5 hours. And I can't imagine some of the docs can do this while the heart's moving around, but they figured out a way to keep you alive and stop the heart from moving. And that's but I was impressed because I left that hospital alive. That was step number 1. Came back to Indiana and said, I'm going to assign 4 lawyers to every case. And that's what we're doing. And I'm one of them. Day 1, I make the decision on how to win the case. If I come across bragging, I apologize. Okay, but I'm proud of our system. We get things done quickly, and so on day 1, I decide to file lawsuits. Most of the time, that's what it is, filing lawsuits, and I get a lot more money for my clients, and we have. We're ranked number 48 in the country for spending the most money on advertising. And there's, I think, 1.2 million lawyers, and so I ranked 48. So I'm happy about that. We give raises regularly. I don't wait till a person comes in and says, I've been here 9 years and you haven't given me a raise. We do it yearly. It was my idea. My job is to look out for my family. I got to look out for my clients, and I got to look out for my staff. And one of the things that I did on my own, no one came to me and asked me, and I'm proud of this, is thanks to the gasoline prices, I gave everybody a $50 a week check just to buy the gas. So it would not have been as pleasant had I had a bunch of people say, you better give us more money, we're going to quit. I did it ahead of time. There was no threats. I just did it. And you know what? It made me feel better. It made me feel better to return phone calls on a Sunday night and talk to clients. So it's a joy to be here. I'll just tell you, I was thinking there's three arguments that I would do when I did jury trials, and I did 40 of them, and they were all felonies, and I won them all. Can you believe that? I'm shocked. Some of the things that I did, I wrote a book in 2017, sitting on the floor. That's where it's been sitting since 2017, on the floor. What did I write? I wrote how to double and triple your income in the next 3 years. And I didn't do that I did it in 5 years, but I did it. And so I haven't published the book. I want to keep it secret, I guess. Here's something, things that you don't know about Ken Nunn was fun to write. It was educational to me. And and you guys, and I'm not advertising, I'm just saying, if you want a copy of this, call Lisa and she'll send it to you, okay? One of the things that I look at, good and bad, I served 14 days in jail, 17 years old. And I cover it right here, Dare to Succeed. And so what did I do bad? I stole some golf clubs out of a trunk of a car. And the judge the last day said, young man, you go and apologize to the owner of those golf clubs. And I said, yes, sir. And so I went down, and it turned out to be a lawyer. And Prentice is his name. And so Judge Prentice, he wasn't judged at the time. He was just Mr. Prentice, very kind, very forgiving. And he gave me 50 cents for a haircut. My hair was down to about here. And so I had to have some flat tops. So I got a flat top. Very, very nice, very forgiving. And so I was very grateful for that. I didn't get to see Mr. Prentice for a bunch of years later. And here's what happened. Let me show you. There's a book. It lists the judges of the Supreme Court, and he became a judge in the Supreme Court. And lo and behold, I became a lawyer. And our paths did cross again. And I did appeal work in front of his court. And he passed away, and he said nice things about me. He said that I was a prominent lawyer, and he described what I did. I stole his golf clubs. But it was odd to walk into that room. It's an elegant room, 24 feet ceiling. I look up and I see the ceiling, and I see the 5 judges come in, and it's my turn to talk. and I'm tongue tied. And so, and a mutual friend tipped us off. My friend told me that the judge I stole the golf clubs from is going to be there. And then he tipped off the judge. So the judge knew I was there. And so it was, I'm in this book for all the wrong reasons. It's, but I'm very proud of it, very proud of it, that I turned my life around, and my wife gets the credit. She and my law office gets the credit. So I keep thinking back when I had that fold up chair, fold up card table. I had a yellow pad, and I remember the first thing I wrote down, I think I told you, phone. The second thing was I got to write a manual for my secretary that I've yet to hire, and I did that. And so I started working the first day, but I didn't have any clients, didn't have any money, didn't have any furniture, didn't have any employees. I was just by myself. And but my cheerleader was my wife, and so she did a good job. Some of the things that we do is called stubbornness and determination. I grew up poor. I wrote a book, my wife and I did, called Vicky and David. This is our kids. And in here, it shows what she remembers and what I remember. And it was really very entertaining that I remembered things differently than she did. I remember we went to a strawberry patch halfway to Martinsville, and you could pick your strawberries and pay for them on the way out. And what I was doing, and I was eating the strawberries there in the patch, and the owner said, "Sir, you cannot eat the strawberries now. You got to pay for them." So she turned her back, and I kept on eating the strawberries, and they kicked us out. So I got my family kicked out of the strawberry patch. But Vicky is now a lawyer in my office. She is awesome. She settled a $1 million case just last week. I have a granddaughter. She's going to go to law school. I have a grandson. So many ways, and my wife would be so happy to know that we have more kids going to law school than we first anticipated. My history in law school was the dean of the law school came over to see me, and I said to him, I said, "You know, Dean, I think I came in last in my class. I don't think I was the smartest guy there at all." And he came back and he says, "You know, Ken, I got good news for you. You came in next to last. There was one guy worse than you." And so I said, "Okay." Birch By flunked the bar 3 times. And I thought, if Birch can flunk, I'm good for 3 flunks. And I'm not pressured at all. And so I took the bar exam, and to my shock and surprise, I passed. I couldn't believe it. And so, at any rate, I became a lawyer, and I'm sitting in that office with my card table, and that's where my practice started. And I'm really proud to say today, we've accomplished a lot. We, and I put the emphasis on we. We're a team, and it's really. Had a 3-room house with a bathroom out back. That's no fun. In my senior year, I keep this on my desk, writ die. This is a reminder of where I was when I was a senior. I wore the same pair of pants for the whole semester, 2 semesters. The whole senior year, I wore the same pair of pants. They were black, and I would iron them and launder them and dye them black. But nobody in my class knew I wore the same pair of pants. And I would get into swim trunks and go down to the public laundry mat and put my coin in there, and I would put my dye in there. I always wondered who came next. At any rate, I got them black again, and I dried them there, and I took them home and I ironed them myself. I did all my own ironing at age 12. So this is a refresher. Now I got 40 suits. I have 40 suits, and I still remember the time that I only had one pair of pants. And so I keep this on my desk, and I brought it today to show you. Some things that I got to do is write a chapter in some books. And I pointed to those. They talk about me, of course, and it was fun writing them. But a lot of other people helped make the book successful. And so
Yeah. So like,
can I say?
are you a current client or are you a new client? Okay. So our enrichment boarding that we offer is for anyone who is currently doing a training program with us or someone who's completed a training program with us. If you are wanting to be able to do like our enrichment boarding, then you would need to have completed again or
7 minutes? You know what? When I was in court, I would lean over and look over and say, "Hey, Mrs. Court Reporter, how much time do I got?" And she'd say, "Oh, you got about 5 minutes." The judge say, "No, sir, you only got 3 minutes." But there were 3 arguments that I had when I went to trial. I had the one that I prepared ahead of time. And then I had the one I delivered. And then on the way down the stairs, it was the one that I should have given. And so it was a learning experience. I did 40 jury trials, all felonies, and won them all. And I was strutting around the courthouse, and the judges started calling me slick. And I started getting compliments from Northern Indiana. And I just wanted to win. I had a lawyer come to me, and he said, "Ken, you know, you're a good lawyer, but you dress like a pimp." And he was right. I had plaid and polka dots and stuff like that. So now I've become super conservative. 40 dark blue suits. Always wear a red tie. I buy them by the dozen, and they're hard to tie. I want to tell you, the stubbornness pays off. I've had lots of cases where things didn't go right, but I didn't give up. That is really important. I remember, how much time did I got now? Oh, okay. All right. Here's what I did as a young person. I had this guy, I've been involved in over 100 fistfights. That's the way my hometown was. I won half of them. I weighed 125 pounds. I would fight over everything. But this one guy, he was a lot bigger than me. And he socked me and knocked me down. And he says, "Get up, let's finish the fight." And I said, "No." So I got up and walked away. For the next 3 days, I couldn't look in the mirror. I didn't feel right anymore. I didn't feel normal anymore. And so what I did to feel better, to get rid of this knot in my stomach, I tracked this guy down. I said, "Okay, I'm ready to finish the fight." You know, he was fighting a different guy that day. wasn't a guy that was mad. I was desperate to get rid of this knot. And I tell you what, I held my own and I clobbered him sometimes, and he knocked me down again. But it taught me a lesson to keep on fighting even when you lose. So here's one. We did a pamphlet on it. Went to court. The judge gave the wrong instructions. We lost. I appealed. We reversed it. We went back to court the second time, and the same judge gave the wrong jury instructions again, and we lost again. And I appealed again. And the third time, I got a different judge. And so we won $400,000. So I think one of the things that I learned is don't back down and keep on fighting and don't give up. And those are things that I lived with. Now I'm out of time, aren't I? Hey, let me say one more thing. Hey, Charlotte, it's good to see you. They named the courthouse after Charlotte. Isn't that fabulous? Wow. Why didn't they name the courthouse after me? I don't know. All right, got questions?
Yeah, I'm curious, out of the 280, 300 phone calls you get, how many do you turn down?
Well, what do you think, Lisa? We don't turn anybody down. Yeah,
Well, I
we're
guess
crazy.
what I mean is, like, you know, they bring something to you that's just so ridiculous that you say, I'm sorry, we can't touch that.
Rarely.
Or you don't have a case. Or
Very
something.
rarely.
Really?
Yeah.
I stubbed my toe on the way in here. When
Hey, toes are important. Yeah, I think being the crazy nutty lawyer, I have to do things to take on cases that are not winnable. And I've done that lots of times. I had a 14-year-old kid ride his bicycle, and the school bus driver said, "You ran right out in front of me." And the police came and said, "The boy is at fault." And then an accident reconstructionist said, "The boy is at fault." And I didn't give up. The jury came back with $3.9 million. And then they appealed it. And so we do appeals for free in our office. You call around, nobody's going to do them for free. I do them for free. Why? To protect my reputation. So we got it reversed. I hired the best appellate attorney possible. And then we hired 3 retired appellate court judges to give us some guidance. And we got it reversed. Or no, we didn't get it reversed. I'm sorry, we got it confirmed. And now, by now, they owed me $4.3 million because the interest is going there. And so they sent it to me. We send out the magic letter to people. I call it the magic letter because I created it. It says to the insurance company, if you make us wait our turn to go to court and we win more than your policy limits, then we're going to hold you responsible. And they said, okay, I'll see you in court. And so we had a lot of these. I'll give you a couple of examples. They offered me $13,000, and we said no, and we won $100,000, and they said no. And so we sent the magic letter, and the jury came back with $674,000. And now the insurance company calls up and says, hey, we'll offer you the $100,000 now. And I said, too late. And so they ended up giving me the $674,000. I did the same thing in Columbus, $350,000. And so, you know, I think as a kid, what I learned that day that boy knocked me down was you don't give up. You don't give up. You come back and you keep on fighting and you keep on trying to win. And that's what I did. It was almost a blessing to grow up poor. Okay. It was really, truly a blessing. I was lucky. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I was a high school dropout for a year. and my wife's father was a retired state trooper. Man, am I in trouble. The principal of the high school came over and told the family, my girlfriend's family, that they should break up our relationship. And, I went to church every Sunday. I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't cuss. I just stole things. And so it was like, come on. I had one bad trait, so go ahead. Yeah. I know you guys are busy. I'm sorry if I went over time.
This is probably too long a format, but for this, but I wanted to thank you for speaking to us and presenting your very compelling and impressive life story. But I did have one question, which was about, periodically we hear about tort reform in Congress. And I was just wondering if you would present a few words about your perspective from your side about how you feel about that and why we should feel the way we should.
Well, I believe in the jury system, and I don't know. Frankly, I don't know what law you're talking about. They're fiddling with. Do you? No.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's fiddling right now, but I think the kinds of things I'm thinking about is caps on awards and things like that, which is periodic.
Yeah, we got caps now.
Okay, well, leave it at that. Thank you.
Yeah, it breaks my heart to see these cases. Well, sometimes we get built-in caps because the people didn't buy enough insurance. So, you win a big case, like the $157 million that the jury verdict, they filed bankruptcy the next day. I didn't get any money. And so there's always two parts of the story. Oh, you won a lot of money. Did you? Okay. Did you collect it? That's the problem. Did you collect it? Go ahead. We're done. Wait a minute. I want to do this some more. Hey, thank you guys for being patient.
Thank you so much, Ken Nunn. And if you want to do it some more, you're very welcome to join the club. And then you could be up here every week. Truly, absolutely wonderful. And I know that you do so much for the community. You support a lot of the service organizations and just for everything that you do in Bloomington. Thank you for being with us. We support Pets Alive this quarter, and so we're going to be giving them a contribution in honor of your visit with us. For next week, we have a very special week next week. Every week is special, but next week we have the Rotaractors are taking over. They will be running the meeting. They will be providing us a program, and I think it will be just very interesting for us all to be here and seeing what happens. So next Tuesday, we will be in the hands of student representatives of Rotary International. And by the way, Rotaractors are official members of the Rotary Club, so let's give them some respect. Okay, well, Tyler, let's do the four-way test. And if you'd like to stand and share with me, for the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, would it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? Thank you so much.